quick and easy kill. That's what happened to America's former favorite muscle car, Camaro. It started as a passion project to rival Ford. It even surpassed Ford in performance and aesthetics. But somewhere along the line, Camaro ended up meeting its maker, or should I say killer. With the announcement of the last Chevrolet Camaro launch in 2024, let's share with you the sad story of how Chevrolet managed to kill the iconic Camaro muscle car without even trying. And be sure to stay to the end as we reveal some of the insights of the upcoming Chevy Camaro. Let's get started. Many years ago, a man named Louis Chevrolet had a dream of building a car that would take on its arch rival Ford in the muscle car segment. And so, the Camaro was born. The design team behind the Camaro took inspiration from a French word for comrade and set out to create a vehicle that was both powerful and stylish. The first generation Camaro launched in 1966 and was an instant success, with its iconic long hood and short deck design, along with its impressive V8 engines. The Camaro went on to become a symbol of American muscle and even made appearances in Hollywood blockbusters like Transformers. But as we know it, Chevrolet has announced that the Camaro lineup is coming to an end. The reason behind this decision is unclear, but it's speculated that the market shift towards electric vehicles may have played a role. Now, let's jump into the reasons why Chevrolet decided to slowly kill Camaro. Reason number 1. They stopped focusing on Camaros. Over the last decade, Chevy has put all its love and attention into this beast, regularly updating it to keep up with the ever-evolving world of sports cars. And in 2020, they outdid themselves by introducing the C8 Corvette with a mid-engine layout, a first in the Corvette's 67-year history. It was a game changer and marked GM's revival of mid-engine sports cars since the 80s. And the cherry on top, they gave it a 6.2-liter small block V8 LT2 engine with a whopping 495 horsepower, making it the fastest Vette to date. And they priced it under $60,000 and marketed it as a true supercar for every day. Talk about a knockout! Meanwhile, the last major upgrade the Camaro had was back in 2016 when the 6th generation was introduced. And since then, it's had practically no upgrades. As a result, it started to look a little dated compared to other muscle cars like the 2024 Mustang. And unfortunately for the Camaro, this lack of upgrades compared to the C8 Corvette meant that many people started to feel that Chevy didn't care about it anymore. And that feeling only grew as the end of the Camaro's lifespan approached. Speaking of Corvettes, in January of this year, Chevy introduced the Corvette E-Ray hybrid sports car, making the company's leap into evolution. And guess what? The Corvette C8 became an instant hit and further overshadowed the aging Camaro, the nail in the coffin, if you will. They weren't focused on Corvette. They also turned to trucks and SUVs, which again became a cash cow for the company. According to GM Authority, the Camaro makes up a measly 12% of total car sales, while the Corvette is flying high with 16%. And when it comes to trucks and SUVs, that's where the big bucks are. In 2022 alone, Chevy sold over 1.5 million vehicles, with a whopping 34% of truck sales belonging to the Silverado, followed by 36.8% in 2021. And if you're curious about the other SUVs and trucks, Chevy sold over 200,000 Equinoxes, over 100,000 Tahoes and Traverses, and nearly 90,000 Colorados. The bottom line is that the Camaro just can't keep up with the competition, and Chevy has bigger fish to fry with their plans to go fully electric by 2040. So while it's sad to see the Camaro go, it's clear that Chevy has no choice but to focus on their profitable models and leave the Camaro in the dust. And because the focus on Camaro was fading, so were the sales, which is reason number 2. The Camaro is an iconic vehicle that's been around since 1966, with several reintroductions to the market. However, in recent years, the car's sales have been declining and it's fallen behind competitors like the Ford Mustang. Sales figures from GM showed the Camaro only contributes 12% of total shares among cars, while the Corvette, with regular updates and upgrades, ups by 16%. The Camaro's poor sales record can also be attributed to the fact that it's not seen any significant upgrades since 2016, while other muscle cars have received significant upgrades. The Mustang, for example, sold nearly double what the Camaro did in 2022, reaching 47,566 cars sold, according to Ford sales data. In 2016, Chevrolet launched the 6th generation Camaro with high hopes, and it didn't disappoint. The vehicle sold an impressive 72,705 units in its debut year, but it was all downhill from there. In 2017, sales declined by 6.77%, and it got even worse in 2018 with a shocking drop of 28.55%. These numbers were alarming, but nothing could have prepared the automotive world for the news that came in 2022 when Camaro's sales plummeted by a whopping 98.7%. With such a dramatic drop, it's no wonder that GM and Chevy had to prioritize their resources on much more profitable models, including the Corvette and their highly popular SUV and pickup lines. It's a sad end to a car that has a rich history and has been loved by many, but the reality is that the Camaro couldn't keep up with its competition in terms of design, quality, and overall appeal. And let's say some people did buy the Camaro. Were they happy? Not at all, because despite being relatively new models, 2016, 17, and 18 Camaro models turned out to be the worst of this generation. Issues with the engine, rattling noises, bad mileage, cheap material, and problematic electronics took a toll on the Camaro's reputation and sales. Chevy ignored these issues, and as a result, the Camaro's design failed to allure buyers. Buyers found the interior shabby compared to its rivals, and the exterior design was simply a refreshed version of the previous Camaro. These issues quickly became evident to Camaro owners, leading to an alarming decline in sales. The issues with the 2016 to 2018 Camaro models were severe enough to prompt recalls, with the NHTSA receiving 106 and 128 complaints for the 2016 and 2017 model years respectively. The problems with the engine, electrical systems, steering, and electronics were widespread and required immediate attention. While Chevy did respond promptly to these issues, the damage to the Camaro's reputation was already done. In 2016, Chevy sold 72,705 units, but this fell by 6.77% in 2017 and an alarming 28.55% in 2018. The decline continued, with a shocking 98.7% drop in 2022. It's no surprise that GM and Chevy have prioritized their profitable models such as the Corvette and SUVs and pickup trucks. Reason number 3 is GM's plan to go fully electric by 2040, because of which R&D on EVs further hindered the upgrade of the Camaro. Chevy is focusing on building a strong EV lineup and has already scheduled the electric versions of the Equinox, Silverado, and Blazer for launch. Hence, both GM and Chevrolet have no choice but to preserve profitable models and desert the Camaro because of its poor sales. The muscle car segment of the automotive industry is one of the most fiercely contested, with only 3 major players vying for dominance: Ford, Chevrolet, and Dodge. With Chevrolet asleep at the wheel, Camaro has been losing ground in recent years, with bad sales showing a steady decline since the 6th generation of the vehicle was released in 2016. Part of the reason for the Camaro's decline can be attributed to Chevrolet's poor product management. While the company was focused on modernizing its Corvette model, it overlooked the Camaro, leaving a void in its product lineup. In contrast, Ford was aware of Chevy's lack of focus and took steps to ensure its Mustang remained competitive. Each year, Ford introduced the GT with special editions to keep it exclusive and introduced the 7th generation Mustang to secure its spot. But it wasn't just Ford that posed a threat to the Camaro. Dodge also entered the fray, selling 80,365 Chargers and 55,245 Challengers in 2022 alone. Dodge's commitment to the muscle car scene was highlighted by the launch of the 7th Last Call model, which marked its departure from the internal combustion engine scene. However, it's the announcement of an electric successor to its muscle cars that truly sets Dodge apart from Chevy. Even at the time of goodbye, Chevy's lackluster effort to improve the Camaro is evident when you compare it to Dodge's retirement of the Challenger in a blaze of glory. Dodge released the Challenger SRT Demon 170, the 7th Last Call model, with a jaw-dropping 1,025 horsepower, making it the first factory muscle car to hit 8 seconds in a quarter mile. Meanwhile, Chevy's latest offering, the Collector's Edition, is underwhelming with minor upgrades like magnetic ride control and the 1LE package, further highlighting their disregard for the Camaro. Chevy's product management strategy seems to be out of touch with what muscle car enthusiasts want, while Dodge and Ford are stepping up their game to keep their muscle cars relevant in the electric age. Meanwhile, here's what we know so far about the 2024 Camaro. It's a rear-wheel drive and comes in two body styles: coupe and soft-top convertible. Powertrains including a not-so-exciting 275 horsepower turbo 4-cylinder, a 335 horsepower V6, and a commendable 455 horsepower V8. Chevy does say that the Camaro will return at some point, and we expect that to include some form of electrification. But for now, we'll just mourn the loss of the Camaro and hope that Chevrolet pulls some last-minute changes to one of the most iconic muscle cars of all time. What do you think can be the reason that Chevrolet was asleep at the wheel for its iconic Camaro muscle car? Are you planning to get the 2024 Chevy Camaro? Be sure to tell us in the comments section below. And thanks for watching.